You ever find yourself breaking into someone's house with the intention of not taking anything of value, just VHS tapes? While I don't think or want to believe anyone watching this video has ever thought of doing something that juvenile, it is the central story arc of 2012's VHS. I'm sure you're thinking, oh great, another found footage film. What can this one do for me that I haven't already seen? Well, for one, it was a huge cult classic and so successful that it has spawned multiple sequels and spin-offs. So, on this episode of Horror Revisited, we ask that you not sit too close to the TV, turn up the volume, and please remember to be kind and rewind as we explore VHS.
Nice hearing from you, Carlos.
Horror anthology films have been around since the early 1900s. If you're wondering what exactly that is, I'm happy to explain it to you. A horror anthology is a collection of short horror films, each with a unique cast or premise. Some of the most popular ones include Black Sabbath, Creepshow, Twilight Zone the movie, Body Bags, and even that recent cult hit, Trick or Treat. As you can see, there has been quite a demand for horror anthology films, but let's not forget another type of horror genre that audiences have enjoyed as well, maybe even more. Found footage horror films became popular back in 1999 with The Blair Witch Project. Because of its small budget and huge box office success, it would inspire other filmmakers to explore this new format. And out of that, we were treated to some genre-defining classics such as Paranormal Activity, Rec, and J.J. Abrams' sci-fi epic, Cloverfield. And we've seen so many types of both anthologies and found footage that somebody was bound to breed these two types of films, right? Brad Miska, the founder of Bloody Disgusting, would team up with production company The Collective as well as 5 horror-hungry directors and writers to create VHS. The plot is somewhat simple, but in it we have our main narrative entitled Tape 56, as well as our 5 short stories that follow. In Tape 56, we watch 4 guys who make money putting their violent acts online. They're hired by someone anonymous to break into a house and steal a VHS tape. While filming inside the house, you follow each of them around as they encounter a dead man, as well as, you guessed it, lots of VHS tapes. One of the guys sits down to watch a few tapes to look for whatever was being asked, and we then just dive right in.
Anyway, he said the job pays, so like, it could lead to more work.
Word.
The first story is called Amateur Night. It was directed by David Bruckner, who would go on to direct the 2022 version of Hellraiser. We follow 3 friends who want to find some girls, get them drunk, and have sex with them, to then make an amateur porno movie. They have one of their friends wear glasses that are equipped with a hidden camera and a microphone. They eventually find some girls, and the one wearing the glasses, whose name is Clint, is noticed by a very quiet woman named Lily, who keeps repeating the same thing.
Oh, okay.
They eventually go back to a hotel room, but one of the girls passes out. Shane, one of the friends, tries to have sex with Lily. She starts displaying some odd behavior, and then she kills Shane as well as the third friend, Patrick. We find out that Lily is a succubus, and Clint tries to dart out of the hotel, but instead is carried away as we see the glasses fall to the ground. And that's it.
Dude, what's up, man?
I'm just sitting on the couch, dude.
Our second story is called Second Honeymoon and was written and directed by Ty West. You know Ty West.
Please, I'm a I'm sorry, it's too late.
We follow a married couple, Sam and Stephanie, as they travel around Arizona on their honeymoon. Stephanie documents the entire trip. They stop at some Wild West themed attraction, and she receives a prediction from a mechanical prospector claiming that she will soon be happily reunited with a loved one. The next night, a stranger eventually comes to their motel and asks Sam to give her a ride somewhere the next day. When they see someone go into their motel room, put Sam's toothbrush in the toilet, and steal money out of his wallet, Sam accuses Stephanie of stealing his money, and then we cut to the night where the girl comes into their hotel room again, but stabs Sam repeatedly. He chokes on his own blood and dies, and then the killer goes to clean her blade and makes out with Stephanie, revealing that she was her lover. Oof.
It's a whole lot better to say just a little bit than to say too much and wish you hadn't. You know what I'm saying?
The third story is entitled Tuesday the 17th, which was written and directed by Glenn McQuaid. He would later go on to direct a somewhat cult hit, I Sell the Dead, and let us know in the comments if you've seen it. A group of 20-somethings join their friend Wendy on a trip to the lake in a forest. Strangely, when the camera scans certain areas, it glitches showing mutilated bodies. Wendy says to them they are all going to die. She then tells them about a murderer who killed many people there years before. The group thinks it's a joke and laughs it off, but one by one, the group is killed off by a strange figure who can't be viewed and makes the sound of an old Sony Ericsson phone being too close to a computer. Wendy reveals to her friend, before he's killed by a glitchy person, that the murderer has slaughtered all her friends and she was using this group as bait. Wendy runs away. The glitch is then impaled on a bed of spikes. Wendy thinks that she's won, but he reappears in a tree and then kills her. And then we see Wendy become a glitch herself.
You're all gonna die up here.
What?
With 2 more short stories to go, we've made it onto our 4th film. This one is called The Sick Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Younger. It was directed by Joe Swanberg and written by Simon Barrett, who of course would go on to write the somewhat continuation of the Blair Witch Project, simply entitled Blair Witch, in 2016. The movie is told entirely on computer video chats. We meet Emily and her boyfriend James. Emily tells James about this mysterious bump on her arm and how it reminds her of an accident she had when she was younger. Emily starts to hear noises outside her door and sees small ghost-like children rush into her room and slam the door shut. It makes her feel that her house is haunted. Emily digs into her arm where the bump is, and James urges her to stop before her wound becomes infected. He says he'll be checking on it himself when he sees her in a week. The next night, she tries to contact the ghost children, who knock her unconscious. James then quickly enters the apartment. The children aren't ghosts, but instead, aliens. James removes an alien fetus from Emily's torso, and it's revealed that she is an incubator for alien-human hybrids. James has been working with the aliens and worries that she won't survive if they keep doing this to her. They erase her memory, and James breaks some of her bones. In their next chat, Emily believes that she suffered injuries after wandering into traffic. She says James deserves someone better, but James tells her that he wants to be with her. After their chat ends, he starts talking with a new woman who has the same bump on her arm and believes James is her boyfriend, revealing that the aliens are using multiple people as incubators. Now for the 5th and final short story, 10/31/98. It was written and directed by the guys from Radio Silence. If you've been following their career in the past 10 years, they've directed 3 big horror films: Ready or Not, Scream 5, and Scream 6. This short takes place in 1998 on Halloween night. Tyler and his buddies Chad, Matt, and Paul are going to a Halloween party. Tyler is wearing a teddy bear costume implanted with a nanny cam so that we can see what happens throughout the short. They've arrived early and believe they're in a real haunted house attraction. Some antics ensue and they eventually make it to the attic. They see several men gathered around a woman who is being suspended from the rafters. They're performing an exorcism. Their presence gets alerted to the men, and several of these men are pulled into the darkness. The boys flee but go back into the house to get the girl. When they free her and the house comes to life with ghost arms rising from the walls and floors trying to prevent them from escaping, they eventually get in the car and drive the hell away. But the car stops abruptly and the girl vanishes. She then reappears in the street, and the boys notice that their car stopped on a train track. They realize the girl they rescued is actually a witch. The boys are unable to get out of the car, and the train approaches as their car won't start. The train kills all of them inside, and in the end of tape 56, we see all the boys get murdered by the old man who appears to be a zombie. Glad I was able to summarize all of that for you.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know, something amazing, I guess.
Back in 2012, I remember watching this film and renting it from one of the few remaining Blockbusters. For the most part, I didn't love the movie as a whole, but some of the stories are pretty good and actually show potential. I'd say my favorite is 10/31/98. Why? Well, it's the only one in the whole bunch that truly feels like a fun short story. It's a good premise, great values for a film that's budget was only $242,000, and very engaging. I also liked Amateur Night. It's the perfect perfect grasp to get the anthology started, and it keeps you glued to the screen. The sound mixing and the costume design of the succubus are truly terrifying. When rewatching it recently with my noise-canceling headphones, I got goosebumps thinking Lily was right behind me, about to kill me. I'm sad to say that Ty West's short film, Second Honeymoon, just didn't do it for me.
I have no idea what you could possibly be imagining right now.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
Same goes for the fourth story with the incredibly long title, the one with Emily and the aliens. Both stories felt disjointed without really engaging the audience or keeping them invested in what was going on. But I give the Emily story a lot of credit for having it feel like the whole film was done on a computer. Did it inspire filmmakers to create the film Unfriended? Who knows? But that aspect was certainly impactful. Tuesday the 17th is the one that I just can't wrap my head around. It truly doesn't make any sense, but yet I'm so curious about it. Who was the killer? Why does he make the sound of an old school phone being too close to a modem? Why can't we see him? Was he even real? Maybe it's a good thing that I'm asking these questions, and maybe that's what the director wanted the viewers to be thinking.
He's back.
No.
And this time I'm ready for you.
Get out of here.
Each segment in the film was 20 minutes each and were designed to not overstay their welcomes. Originally, this was going to be a TV show, with the premise being what Tape 56 was. Miska described the process as a, quote, trust fall exercise, with the creatives developing the initial premise, which he designated as a wraparound of each film, followed by the additional segments that feature as the horrific videotapes that the characters in the reoccurring wraparound sequence discover. He encouraged creativity from the respective filmmakers, with each segment being distinct in its own style and story. The movie was submitted last minute to the 2012 Sundance Film Festival due to its crazy post-production process. It was received well by critics and audiences. Magnolia Pictures purchased the North American rights for over $1 million. Its limited release started on October 5th, 2012. During the limited theatrical window, critics weren't so kind. Shockingly, Empire gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Even The Hollywood Reporter called it refreshing. I remember seeing that it was playing at a local theater near where I was living at the time, and instead I decided to watch both Taken 2 and Frankenweenie. Did I make out better watching VHS at home instead of the limited theatrical release? I don't know, you tell me. It would release on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital download almost 2 months later on December 4th the same year. It even got a VHS release on February 5th, 2013.
Man, he said we'd know, but I don't, so.
One thing everyone who's seen it will tell you is that it's just too long, clocking in at 116 minutes. Some of the stories drag or feel like they could have been cut out completely. Roger Ebert, as well as other critics, would all agree that it was overlong. On average, most found footage films run around 90 minutes, and because of that runtime, it feels like you're watching the camera's battery drain and just give out when the film ends. In the end, the runtime doesn't matter because it would go on to spawn multiple sequels and spin-offs. Some people, including myself, have even said the sequels are much better, but that's a story for anotder episode.
Well, sorry if your vagina hurts there, sister, but someone's gotta do it.
Just get out of the way. Just...
VHS is an experiment done right. Horror anthology films offer a rich and varied experience for fans of the genre. Brad Miska collaborated with some of the best working directors and writers in the horror industry today. The central concept was to create a found footage horror anthology that paid homage to a beloved format known as VHS, and deliver a mix of chilling, gritty, and innovative scares. It offers a variety of horror subgenres, keeping the audience engaged with a fresh and unpredictable experience. The found footage form adds realism and immersion, making the scares feel more immediate. As I stated before, not all the segments are equally strong, but it's still a must-see for fans of horror anthology and those looking for something different with a found footage film.